Good morning. You're listening to CABTalk, and here on the radio this morning I have a guest, and we're going to be talking about citizens' advice. So this morning, welcome. I have my guest, Mike Aikenhead, who is one of the newbies at Citizens Advice. So welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Now, you haven't been here long, but you used to live in Masterton, didn't you?
I grew up in the Wairarapa up until early 20s and then sort of followed the work around the lower North Island.
Yes.
So ended up in Wellington for the last 10 years and recently returned to sort of semi-retirement in the Wairarapa, and was looking for something to give back a little bit, and CAB was certainly something that ticked a lot of boxes for me.
Oh, well, I'm very pleased you have decided to join CAB, because to me it's a great organisation. Yeah.
It is, and it's one of those things for me personally. I was looking for a number of things. I was looking for something where I could give back to the community, somewhere where there's interaction with the public, and certainly we get that. We do get a very interesting range of people coming in and seeking advice. But also, I learn a lot too. We get queries, just such a range of queries that you've got to research or talk to people and find the answers and information for them. And that's great. It's keeping my brain active as well.
I think that's why I've been going for so long, because that is definitely the feel that I have about citizens' advice. You know, you get, as you say, such a variety of queries, and you do your best to help people to find the right direction to get their answers. And then it carries on with this program, being able to invite guests in that are part of the structure of helping people. And that's where I myself get the most satisfaction, is just helping people to help themselves. Yeah.
You're right, and that is one of the really rewarding parts of it, is when you are able to research something, provide the information, or direct people somewhere, and generally they're very, very grateful, and it's really nice just to get that feedback when you have been able to help someone in that sort of way.
Exactly. Now, you can contact us through several different ways, but at the moment we have no walk-in facility. Our rooms are compromised with flooding, and people may not know, but we're at 43 Perry Street, and in the Lodge building, and unfortunately there's been a big leak in the ceiling, and there's major work going on trying to repair it, so it'll be a few weeks before the building's operational again. So the board and the committee are frantically working out systems, but that means that people have to ring the 0800 number, or if they ring our local number, they'll be flicked through to the other number. Oh, and I'll repeat it again at the end of the program, because it is one of those things. Flooding in the north and flooding in Perry Street.
Yes, really, compared with Auckland, though, we've been pretty lucky.
Oh, we have, haven't we? Yes. So we're going to give you lots of music this morning. So we'll see how we go with this next track.
Among the fields of barley, you can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze a while among the fields of barley. She fell as her hair came down. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? And you can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some that I've broken, but I swear in the days still left we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold. Promises lightly, and there have been some that I've broken, but I swear in the days still left we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold.
Isn't that lovely?
Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down, as you lie in fields of gold. You remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Eva Cassidy. Now, we're going to talk about the history of CAB, because we've been around since it was originally created in 1939 back in the UK to cope with the trauma of war. And it was established in air raid shelters, rest centres and in mobile units. And it was it was with the badly bombed areas where there was a demand for problems with settlement and employment and housing. Well, you know, similar scenario with all the flooding. It's incredible, isn't it? And this is how relief centres were set up to help people who were lost and misplaced. And the CAB is now this was in Australia, South Africa, India, New Zealand, Canada and Israel. So I might be wrong. That this data was compiled quite a while ago, but that is the basis of how cabs were set up. Now, in 1970, the Ponsonby cab opened. So that's quite a while ago, isn't it? Yeah. So the National Association was formed with 12 bureaus. And today they must have more, quite a few more than that. I can't exactly say how many, but someone out there will know. National Office will know, and we'll have to perhaps update you on that. So the National Office is in Wellington. It is is run by the national employed people who run National Office, and they are there Monday to Friday, operating and controlling and servicing all the bureaus and assisting with our running. So we are in 43 Perry Street. This is the Wairarapa Citizens Advice Bureau. We've tried to do outreach bureaus in the Wairarapa, and it is just not feasible. We just don't have enough volunteers. You need quite a few to be able to do the 8 outreach centres. Occasionally we've gone and set up a bureau in Martinborough, but you do need a lot of volunteers to operate something like that. We've got, in 1994, a cluster group formed for training purposes, and that is something that is still going, but probably not in the same way as it used to. We used to all go off to a centre and train for a couple of days and then have a lunch or a dinner and guest speakers, but today a lot of it is done online through the bureaus. As you all know, Mike, that's probably how you did your training.
Yes, it's quite impressive, the number of modules and that they've got covering the different areas, and it is they do maintain a very comprehensive database. Yes. For training purposes, and it was very, very good.
Yes. So now if somebody would like to join CAB who lives in the Wairarapa, they can just approach us, send an email. We'll give you the details of emails later on, or drop in the post. We've got a PO box. No, we haven't. We've got a mailing box, a secure mailing box at CAB. There's always some way, if you're really keen, to contact and join Citizens Advice. And as a person that's been in CAB for quite a while, it's a great way to meet people, find out about what the area you're living in, as well as the networking that goes on. Yeah. What's the other thing? The computers bought for the Wairarapa. We have 3 computers, 4. We use laptops. You basically, if you come to CAB, you really need to have some computer skills. Once upon a time, when earlier on, people came to CAB who didn't have computer skills, and through the training, you got your computer skills. But now I think in this digital age, most people have computer skills.
I think it's fair to say that while we're saying computer skills, anyone with a basic understanding of using a computer would be quite at home there. Yeah. National Office have got things well set up. It's not like you need to know programming or anything like that. It's just anyone that's comfortable using a computer that's used the internet before. Yes. Would be fine.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. Quite often we have programs within CAB that are not part of CAB. We were allowing the digital seniors to use our premises for training when the library was closed. They now seem to have their own setup. But if someone comes in with a bit of a problem with their phone, it's amazing how somebody in the bureau can give them a hand. And that's probably the best thing, is that one-to-one contact with people and helping them. Have you found that, Mike? Have you struck anything like that? I have recently. Someone was just lost, and that's a great thing. You can just give them a quick little bit of tuition, and that helps.
It is, and that's one of the really rewarding bits, the face-to-face things, when you resolve something for someone and just see the joy on their face. It's almost like you're lifting the relief. You know, that it's been frustrating them. There it is, and you just feel so good about having done that, which you don't quite get over the phone.
No.
The face-to-face one, when you can help someone, you really do feel as though you've achieved something.
Yes, and sometimes you just need a repetition of something that you've learnt, and well, it can go quite quickly if you just don't use it every day.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of those little skills that we don't use every day, you sort of know it should happen. I've seen it happen. Why can't it? And you sit there and play for a little bit. There it is.
Yes.
It's a great satisfaction.
One thing that we've been getting a lot of, and people are getting quite concerned about, are scams.
Yes. It's not really an area I know much about, but I think National Office and a number of other organisations that sort of monitor the internet and things have information about that online. At police, NetSafe, a few places like that. It is an area that is, I think, frightening a lot of people, because what you're seeing in the media, the figures, the sums of money that people are being scammed out of is really frightening and upsetting for those people.
Very much so, yes.
And they keep saying they're becoming more and more sophisticated, and it's very hard to know what's not, what's correct and what may not be.
Yeah, well, I've got a theory. If in doubt, it's an old theory from a friend, and I've repeated it before. If in doubt, pull out.
I think that's tried and true, and a great way to go. But often you see something, the post office has sent you something, a parcel can't be delivered. You think, maybe there is. I don't know. It's very easy to think, okay, I'll answer it.
Yes.
And I just don't know what you let yourself in for. That's the scary thing.
Yes, because then they get your number, and it seems to keep cropping up. It seems to be that they keep angling at that number, but you just keep deleting it, and that is all you can do.
It is, but I think people do get concerned. Am I going to delete something that I needed to see? And so we're cautious by nature.
Yes.
And that's what these scams play on, which is why they're so difficult to spot.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Right. We'll play a bit more music.
I said, well, I didn't know. He said, I turned 65 about 11 months ago. And I was sitting in Miami pouring blended whiskey down when this old gray black gentleman was cleaning up the lounge. Well, there wasn't anyone around except this old man and me. And the guy that ran the bar was watching Ironside on TV. Uninvited, he sat down and he opened up his mind on old dogs and children and water watermelon wine. Have you ever had a drink of watermelon wine? He asked. He told me all about it, though I didn't answer back. He said there ain't but three things in the world that's worth a solitary dime, but old dogs and children and watermelon wine. He said, you know, women, they think about themselves, well, when men folk ain't around. Oh, and friends are hard to find when they discover that you're down. He said, son, I tried it all when I was young and in my natural prime. Now it's old dogs and children and watermelon wine. He said, you know, old dogs, they care about you even when you make mistakes. And God bless little children while they're still too young to hate. And when he moved away, I found my pen and I copied down that line about old dogs and children and watermelon wine. Yes, sir. To catch a plane up to Atlanta that next day. As I left for my room, I saw him picking up my chain. And that night I dreamed in peaceful sleep of shady summertime, of old dogs and children and watermelon wine.
I hope you enjoyed that. We thought we'd have a change, not too serious. Right, now we're just talking now about the information that we have on our website. Now we've got people in the Bureau, all volunteers in the Wairarapa, and they work on updating our database. So when you ring a number and look up our database, www.wairarapa.cab, I think it is, and you see something that's not correct, and it might be your organisation. It would be very appreciated if you informed us of the change. Every year we go through and contact every organisation that we've got on our local database of local organisations, and we ask them to furnish the changes of chairperson, secretary, whatever, and they reply. At times it takes a while to get through because quite often those organisations are not there every day, but that's what we do. And so don't get angry if someone rings you and you say, oh, I'm not the secretary anymore. Please just consider that we are trying to provide a service in the community, and if we can make the service good or better by you appreciating that we want the correct information. So don't get angry if you get a call and say, please, could you help us? That is, you're helping the community. Now, Mike, have you got anything to add to that? No.
I think you're right. One of the key things the local bureaus do is maintain the information regarding local organisations, groups, and certainly we can provide that information very quickly to people. You know, you want to know where the local karate club is or something like that. That information is on our website, and it's very easy to access.
Yes, yes. And you can understand that people change. You know, you don't stay in a role of that secretary of the karate club or secretary of the netball club. You know, we've got some great facilities in the Wairarapa, and it's great that people can be involved in running those. But, you know, people move on and, yeah. And that's another way of people finding out what there is in the Wairarapa to join.
Definitely. A lot of people nowadays, the first thing they do is Google it, what's here.
Yes.
And generally will take you through to the CAB website.
Yes.
And for those local organisations, it's a great little resource. And I remember when I looked at it last time, I was actually surprised how many groups and clubs we've got in the Wairarapa.
Yes.
It's actually really good.
There's no reason for people not to be involved in joining in groups. A while ago, I had the two men from the croquet club because my husband plays croquet, and that it is a very active group, and there are lots of different days of the week where people can go and play croquet, and there are two different codes of croquet. A friend of my husband's had just come back from a tournament over in Harawa where they thought they were playing in a lake at one stage because it was so wet. But it dries out quite quickly. There are people that do the lawns. So it's a communal thing. You get involved and you get to know new people. So it's a great way of people coming to the Wairarapa to join. Yeah. And I think people are coming to the Wairarapa. What do you think, Mike? Is it growing?
I think so. Someone asked me recently what the population of Masterton was, and I think from memory it was something like 29,000, and that's an increase of several thousand on a few years ago when I last looked at it.
Yes.
So I think from that and what we're seeing, hearing in the media from the land agents, is that there are increasing numbers. And I don't know, but I look at the subdivisions out opposite Mitre 10 and things like that and thinking, well, there's lots and lots of new houses, so I presume we're also getting lots and lots of people.
Yes. I think it's very difficult for the builders at the moment with the materials. There's a shortage because of travel and disruptions.
Definitely, there's been, or they've certainly had more work than they know what to do with in the last few years, and sadly, I think with the situation in Auckland, there's probably going to be a call for builders to be up there to help with rebuilds, and a lot of houses are going to have to get carpets and bits and pieces stripped out and repaired.
Yes.
So there's going to be a huge demand for builders up there very soon.
Yes, and flooring and carpets and.
Yes.
Well, there will be no there will be no shortage of work.
No, materials might be the problem rather than the work itself.
Yes. And it might be a good time for builders to take on an apprentice, if that is still the way it goes, or go to Polytech. The colleges and the polytechs and the trade schools should be absolutely full.
Yes.
I heard on the radio this morning that the subsidy is going to stay on fuel.
Yes, there was definitely an article suggesting that was going to be the case, but I think an official announcement is due within the next day or two, so it will be interesting to see whether that does stay off.
Yes.
It would be nice if it does.
Well, it's just one cost. It's just helping the cost with people having to use transport or public transport. I think I always thought we were very lucky in the Wairarapa to have the train service. So, I think it's vital to the Wairarapa that train service remains and we don't have too many more disruptions.
I agree. I think the train service is wonderful. I don't know what the number is, but I drive past the car parks down Namatawa Road, and I'm surprised by the number of cars parked there each day. So while I don't know what the numbers are, it's significant, and that's people going down to Wellington and the hut, working down there. That's income coming back into the Wairarapa, which is great.
Yes.
It's also good for our housing, in that people from Wellington can come up to a much better lifestyle in the Wairarapa.
Exactly. Yes.
So it is good, and it will make it easier for families. I think there has been also a change since COVID. While people are going down to Wellington, a number of them, or I think quite a number of them now, are able to work 1 or 2 or more days from home in the Wairarapa.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's had some positive spin-offs.
Yes, I don't think that working from home will change. I think it's a really good vehicle for people, but I still think that people need that workspace, that camaraderie of working with people. I know what it's like when CAB just was working from home through the 0800 number. You didn't communicate the same with your co-workers. And, you know, if you have been out of it for a while and new co-workers come in and you think, well, I've only seen them once a month for 2 or 3 weeks, and 2 or 3 months, and you think, oh, who is that person?
Yes, I agree with you. I think there is definitely a place for the office.
Yes.
But the increase in ability for some people to work from home has also been positive.
Mm.
And I think potentially younger ones learn a lot by being in an office situation, just absorbing the culture around them, which you don't get when you're sitting at home just in front of your computer without it. So it's definitely got its place, but I think also the increase in ability of people to do some work from home has been very positive.
Yeah, and at least it keeps the wheels of industry going.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, more music.
When you found somebody new, I thought I never would forget you, for I thought then I never could. But time has taken all the pains away, until now I'm down to hurting once a day, once a day. All day long, and once a night, from dusk till dawn, the only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long. I'm so glad that I'm not like a girl I knew one time. She lost the one she loved, then slowly lost her mind. She sat around and cried her life away. Lucky me, I'm only crying once a day, once a day. All day long, and once a night, from dusk till dawn, the only time I wish you weren't gone slowly lost her mind. She sat around and cried her life away. Lucky me, I'm only crying once a day. Once a day. Once a day. All day long. And once a night. From dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long. Once a day, every day, all day long.
Topical.
Now, while we're up here, we're just having a little chat about what next to talk about. And one of the problems that a lot of people are having is getting behind with their payments, whether it be car, washing machine, just piling up on your credit card, not being able to pay. And so we at CAB have quite a few contacts that we can refer people to help them sort out their finances. It is very difficult to manage at the moment with a lot of people. Single incomes are a problem. We have a contact that we can help through work and income. That often helps people sort out their problems. The biggest problem that people have is not acting quickly enough. If you have a debt that you can't pay, the most important thing is to let that person or let that company know. And if you call CAB, we can help you with the procedure and how to go about the most important way to go about sorting out that debt problem. Often it is just the importance of having a organisation like CAB telling you the right procedure and what your rights are. So do give us a call if you find that you have a huge debt that you can't pay. We can try and negotiate for you. That it isn't easy, and but we do have some contacts, and we can suggest the right way to put you in touch with a mediator, because mediators do work in that field. So don't feel embarrassed about it, because the more you stop and put it under your bed, or it won't work. It just won't work. It just makes people feel worse, and the situation doesn't improve.
I couldn't agree more. The key thing is acting early. And I know the Christmas period is often a tough one for people with expenses, and now's the time to act. If you find your credit card or whatever is at a stage you think you're going to struggle to pay it, please get onto it. Acting, the sooner you act, the sooner you can get it resolved. Yes,
exactly. Now, I've been searching for our email address, because you can email us, and our email address is wairarapa@cab.org.nz. Wairarapa, and it's all lowercase, WAIRARAPA @cab.org.nz, all lowercase. And certainly someone will be checking those emails as they come in, and you can expect a reply as soon as possible for some information. Right, now what else can we talk about today? Because we've talked about the power bills. Now, there used to be a lot of talk about power switch. Doesn't seem to be quite the same, because power companies are very aware of the contracts that you draw up. It's only when it comes to wintertime and people have problems with heating. And heating is a big issue, whether it be firewood, what you pay for firewood, and whether the amount of firewood that is in that trailer, that is the measurements that they say it is very debatable. So you've got to have a good look at, more important, have a good look at that trailer load of firewood and think, yes, that looks a reasonable load. Whether it's stacked, whether it's dry, there's so many different things.
You're right, and there's so many different properties or people selling firewood. You drive the length of town and there's several different trucks or trailers, all different sizes, dimensions and prices. It is hard to know exactly what you are purchasing.
Yes. And the other problem people have is making sure that their chimneys are cleaned and that the whatever log burner they've got is functioning properly, because they've also got the problem coming up through, not at the moment, but in the wintertime when you've got all the emissions and areas in your town get very smoggy, and you're breathing in that contaminated smoggy air.
I was actually interested, I think it was an article last year that Masterton has one of the worst air pollution areas in the North Island. The winter, when we're nice and still and everyone's got their fires going and the emissions go up and they just sort of sit like a little cloud, particularly over the western side of town. It quite surprised me. I thought we would have been quite a clean town with the wind run, but obviously at times we're not.
No, there seem to be pockets in the overlooking the town where you can see it, and it's the same atmosphere when it's smoggy and foggy, like we've been getting. It just hangs, yeah. So the wind is good in lots of ways. More music.
The falling leaves drift by my window. The falling leaves of red and gold. I see your kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to
Okay, we're now back on air. Mike's on. Oh, yes, we're back on air. Well, Mike, I hope you've not found it too difficult to be here with me, but I thank you very much for coming in and helping us get through this session today. There are lots of other aspects of CAB that we could talk about, and people that come in have quite difficult problems that we refer so that we can refer them. There's been a lot of problems with families splitting and going different ways. We don't really have the ability to help them to a great extent, but we can put them in contact with mediators and help them with perhaps benefits through work and income. We have a contact that we can contact at Work and Income and just see if we can jack up an appointment for them, which is a good way of helping people through that minefield.
Yeah, I think the key is we don't provide advice. We provide guidance, and that's the key. We can help people navigate that minefield of all the different government departments and how to, where do they need to go to find the information.
Yes.
And certainly when you start on anything like that, it's daunting. What do I do next? Where do I go? And often just to be able to talk through with someone what your situation is and then get a couple of leads. What about over here? What about that? Or you need to come over here,
yes,
is a great help for a start when people are really struggling. And I think that's where we do provide a great benefit to people. We just provide an ear and we can guide them in where they need to go to look for the information or who they need to talk to. And as you said, we've got those contacts. We can either get them to call back or we'll call them directly,
yes,
which is a great starting point. And often that's the key, is making those first couple of steps. Once people understand the process and where they need to go, they're pretty good at doing it. It's just those first steps, and we can really help there.
Yes. We do have a contact with people with language problems. We have one or two people that can help with interpretation. It's not a big part of CAB anymore. It used to be. We had a huge language service, but we still can help with different language interpretations. And if we can't, we can find somebody that can help them. Because there are an awful lot of immigrants that have come to New Zealand and English is not their first language. And it must be terribly hard for me. My language is one, really. I do try quite hard with being able to understand Te Aro and appreciate the fact that a lot of people are in need of language support. So we've got that capability of helping people there. I mean, just when you've got service people coming into your house to fix something, and it's English is perhaps their second or third language, it's quite difficult to interpret what they're saying, or understanding what they're saying. So we're there to help and guide and empower people to help themselves. Yeah. So thank you, Mike. What else were we going to say? We've got the 0800 number and we've got the CAB number. And you have been listening to CABTalk on Wairarapa Community Radio Arrow FM 92.7. And thank you for listening. Enjoy your day. Keep dry and warm. Thank you. Goodbye.